Hello everyone and welcome back to my F1 22 Custom Formula 2 season. This is the fourth round of the championship in Montreal, Canada. Let's hope we can have a strong result here. After the events of the previous few rounds, this will be the target. So we get going for qualifying. You can see right now the sun is shining, but there is rain forecast by the end of the session, so it'll be very important for us to get a banker lap in early because we may not get a second chance. So here we go then, as we get a little bit wayward on the exit, but the rest of the lap was relatively clean. We move along then to the Wall of Champions chicane to finish off the lap. DRS open towards the line, and we go fastest. Although we are one of the first to set a lap time, we'll see how it stands by the end of the session.
The grid is all set for the race tomorrow, but before we go, let's quickly remind ourselves of our top three, which are
Sato, Aitken and Oscar Piastri.
Goodbye for now then, but we really are just getting started. Make sure you join us again for Lights Out tomorrow.
Alrighty then, we drop down into 7th position by the end of the session. Sato gets pole position, that moves him up to 8th in the standings. Currently tied with Dan Tictum, so great work for Sato, bringing in a few more points for the team there and helping his own championship standings, of course. But yeah, we are looking good in the championship relative to our rivals in this race, because we are up in 7th position and the championship leader Daruvula is down in 15th. Robert Schwartzman second in the standings, down in 13th. So it really could be ourselves and Oscar Piastri, who sits 4th in the standings, really benefiting from this one. Piastri qualifying 3rd, so he will have a fantastic opportunity this weekend. So yeah, without further ado, I think we should just get into the race and see what unfolds. But I suspect there could be a few changes in the standings after the racing is done this weekend. So let's just get into it and see what the round in Canada has in store for us.
Welcome as you join us once again for another thrilling Formula 2 race here in Montreal at the iconic Circuit Gilles Villeneuve. Let's get down to the grid and join the action. Located on a man-made island in the middle of the St. Lawrence River, the Circuit Gilles Villeneuve is a track known for its heavy braking chicanes and famous hairpin. Going at flat-out speeds can result in some close calls, particularly at the iconic Wall of Champions, where former drivers will tell you discipline is key to navigating the track's final chicane. As we await the start of another hugely anticipated Formula 2 race, I'm joined again by Davide Valsecchi. Davide, as a former GP2 champion, can we get some insight to what is running through these young drivers' heads as they sit out on the grid?
Ciao Alex, it's a pleasure to be here. There are nervy moments, there is no doubts about that. Mental strength is the key to remaining calm and focusing on the upcoming race. Formula 2 is so competitive, and all of these drivers knows that they are going to be pushing each other all of the way. In this sport, you have to be able to control your nerves.
Okay, here we go. I know what you can do. Don't let me down.
I will not let you down, Mark. I remembered his name finally. All dry conditions for this one, no pit stops required, so let's just go straight on to the 5 red lights. And it's lights out and away we go for the sprint race here in Canada. It's a good start for us as Liam Lawson blocks us off straight away. Lundgaard already up into the lead from 2nd position. We can't quite get up the inside of Lawson, and he maintains 3rd position. Zandelli losing pole position immediately, and he drops into 2nd as we're really struggling for traction out of the first chicane there. But we should be able to close up once again as we head into the middle sector. Liam Lawson will be being a little bit affected by the dirty air. We're able to carry speed nicely there, and we've already caught up to the back of the little train once again. So Liam Zandelli will be very disappointed with that start. He had a very good opportunity in this one but unfortunately that opportunity lasted just a few hundred meters until he lost the lead. Second position for him at the moment, as Liam Lawson starting to put the pressure on. We're struggling a bit through the middle sector as we now head into the hairpin for the first time. Hopefully we can gain some time back here in the braking zone. Going to go for a later apex, get the power down early, and that doesn't quite work for us. Liam Lawson gets a nice exit, but we have a buffer to the field behind, so the top four stretching away in this one. We continue on through the race. We do start putting the pressure on Liam Lawson as we head through the Wall of Champions chicane. DRS for us, but I don't think we're quite close enough to go for the move on the Kiwi driver just yet.
The car behind is catching you by 5/10 a lap, 5/10.
And it seems like the field behind are starting to catch up, so we do need to get a move on and pass Liam Lawson, because you can see he's holding us up now. We're all over the back of him and he's defending into every corner, so we really do need to get this move done sooner rather than later, but unfortunately we do lose touch with him, and now he's the one on the attack down the inside of Zendelli, and Liam Lawson is up into second position, and we have a nice run here. We're a fair way behind Zendelli, but with a bit of extra momentum we might be able to go for the dive here. Big lunge down the inside into turn one, and we get the move done on Lurim Zendelli. David Beckman getting involved now as well, the two Germans running side by side, but we're up into third position as Felipe Drogovic is going slowly along the straight, and I think he has an issue and he's going to retire from the race with a mechanical failure, unfortunately, for the UNI Virtuosi driver. Meanwhile, we are still putting the pressure on Liam Lawson as we go up the inside into the Wall of Champions chicane side by side. We're both cutting corners, but it's Liam Lawson who holds on as we get the DRS open. Can we go for the move into turn one just like we did on Lurim Zendelli? We do go up the inside, and that is a move on Liam Lawson done. We're up into second position. Christian Lundgaard has absolutely flown away from the field. I don't think we'll be catching him anytime soon, as Lawson's back around the outside as we head into the Wall of Champions chicane once again. Wheel to wheel as we enter the chicane and come out the other side just in front, with Liam Lawson having to lift there. We were both right over the curbs though, as we're looking at the replay here. And yeah, big cut over the chicane for us, same for Liam Lawson. We're both absolutely pushing the limits through there, and we come out on top of this time. But it's not over yet, because Lawson once again around the outside, and once again he's up and over the curbs in a big way, as now more drivers are getting involved. Behind, Lurim Zendelli is catching us, and David Beckman is not far behind him, so there is a big fight on for second position here in this race, but we're just about holding on for now. We seem to be losing a bit of pace in this phase of the race, with Liam Lawson really starting to pile the pressure on, but as we continue on later, what's this? That's Oscar Piastri. He's ahead of Lawson and Beckman there. How did that happen? Where did Piastri come from? I didn't see when or where that happened, but somehow Piastri's ended up in fourth position. Zendelli's passed Lawson as well.
Final lap of the race.
So I don't know where that happened. We actually move on now to the final lap, as you just heard. And the race has been relatively boring for us. Not a lot of action other than those few times we had to defend from Lawson. So we're cutting through this one fairly quickly, as we have a bit of an off there in the first sector. But yeah, out in front, Christian Lundgaard has absolutely dominated this race. He's been absolutely untouchable in the ART car, and he's going to bring home a very nice victory and a healthy bundle of points from this race. So yeah, here he is, Christian Lundgaard around the final corner and towards the finish line, and Christian Lundgaard wins the sprint race here in Canada. Great drive from him. He's been absolutely untouchable. We're going to hold on to second position, but that was hard fought at times.
Yes, that's a podium. Excellent drive. The team have worked especially hard this weekend, and this is a fantastic reward.
Second place, not a bad way to get the weekend started, but we're going to have to find something extra in the next one, because Lundgaard was fast.
It was a magnificent race and a drive right out of the top draw to take the win for ART today. And I have to wonder, Davide Valsecchi, just what set them apart from the competition here.
I think they kept a cool head. That's why they won today. Smooth, steady, everything bad that happened to them, they handled it calmly and professionally. That's what let them focus on getting the best out everything else. The car, the strategy, they managed to keep out of trouble the whole way round.
ART, the French team who have been racing since the 90s in various forms of motorsport, are once again back on the winner's podium today after a brilliant display of driving skill.
So it is Christian Lundgaard who takes victory here for the sprint race in Canada. We finish in second position with third place going to Larim Zendelli.
And now, Davide Valsecchi, let me ask you, who is your driver of the day?
Probably Oscar Piastri. You know, strong pace, good work with the strategy, just a very complete drive, I think.
After all this drama, you would be mad not to join us for the next race. We hope to see you then. Take care.
Alrighty, so let's see what the results are and how they have affected the championship after this one. So obviously we just saw the podium. Christian Lundgaard first, we finished in second, Larim Zendelli third. Oscar Piastri went from 8th to 4th in that race, so driver of the day worthy performance for sure. Liam Lawson finished in 5th position ahead of David Beckman, Teo Porcher and Marino Sato, rounding out the points, Sato gaining 2 spots and bringing home a point for the team. The 2 points for fastest lap, we managed to grab those, so we actually take away 14 points from this race. Which is awesome. As for our championship rivals, Robert Schwartzman finished in 11th position, so a little bit of progress made, but nowhere near the points really. Top 8 scoring points in this one. And as for Deruvala, he is nowhere to be seen, not in the top 14, so not exactly sure where he finished, but it was not a good race for the Indian driver. Nonetheless, he still leads the way in the championship on 69 points. We sit on 56, so 13 points behind Deruvala, and then 21 points back is 21 points back is Robert Schwartzman, followed by Oscar Piastri, just 1 point behind him. Liam Lawson is 24 points off the championship lead, followed by Vips and Bashaw, who are both 31 points away. Marino Sato is next, and he is 36 points away, though he has only scored 33 points, so he has less than half the points of the championship leader. That said, he did move himself up a position ahead of Dan Ticktum fully with that point. Dan Ticktum just missing out on points in this one. As for the team's championship, it is currently Carlin in the championship lead on 101 points. Second place currently is Prema on 95, so 6 points behind. We sit third, the Trident team, and we are a further 6 points back. And then a further 6 points back is High Tech. They have 83 points and sit in 4th position. They are the main contenders in the team's championship. So it's really a close battle in terms of the teams. The drivers, it's a close battle for second more than anything else, with Deruvala in a fairly comfortable lead at the moment. But anyway, that's enough talking about this race. Let's move on to the next one.
Following on from the qualifying session earlier in the day, this has all the makings of a classic. Let's hope we get the spectacle we all want today here in Montreal as we get ready for lights out at the Canada race. Circuit Gilles Villeneuve certainly isn't the easiest of tracks. 2.7 miles and 14 corners make up this Canadian circuit, a circuit which is known for its high speed and heavy braking chicanes, which will no doubt be made even harder to navigate due to the wet conditions out on track today. And here are the driver grid positions for today's race. A fantastic effort from Marino Sato yesterday puts him on pole position, and Jack Aitken completes the front row. Looking down the rest of the grid, we have Piastri, for sure, Teo Porcher and Beckman, Viscal, Lawson, Lundgaard, Larim Zendelli, Nissani, Ticktum, Robert Schwartzman and Vips, Deruvala, Fittipaldi, Drugovic and Guilherme Samaya, Deleda, Joe, Boschon and Marcus Armstrong completes the grid. And with preparations almost complete, let's head down to the track. I'm joined by a man who's had many a wet race, Davide Valsecchi. Just how challenging will these conditions be out there on track?
Delighted to be here, Alex. Even in this weather, nothing will be easy for them. We may have standing water, which means visibility will be a worry. They just need to stay clear of the white lines and curbs. That can cause you a real problem when it's so slippery.
Alrighty then, so here we are on the grid for the feature race here in Canada. And the rain is coming down. It's going to be a wet one out there today. Visibility will be tough. Traction will be difficult to come by. And the strategy will be a one-stop, just 2 sets of the wet compound tyres. No inters in Formula 2, just the full wet as we go to the 5 red lights. And it's lights out and away we go for the feature race here in Canada. It's actually a pretty good launch despite the slippery conditions. We're going to go for some overtakes down the inside into the first corner. We're a little bit wayward and out of control, and we have to cut the corner to make sure we don't make any contact into turn 1. We're wide though through turn 2, out and into the grass, and that's going to cost us a few places. We're down into 6th position, make that 7th as Lawson's up the inside. We cut back to the inside, we'll go for the lunge up the inside of Lawson. Bit of contact made there with the Kiwi driver as we run through the next chicane, and we do eventually get that move done. And Liam Lawson unfortunately did lose an additional place as Christian Lundgaard was able to sneak through as he was recovering from that little moment of contact. We're up into 6th position though, so not a terrible start to the race for us, and hopefully we can find a rhythm soon, because at the moment we're struggling.
Sat in 6th. Pourchaire is ahead. Lundgaard behind. Okay, so gap to the leader is 2.5 seconds. You've got 18 laps until your pit window opens. Alright mate, that's 39 laps to go.
Yeah, we're struggling for traction on just about every corner exit as Christian Lundgaard gets past us now as we cut to the inside. Big dive, big lunge, and we will get the move done as Lundgaard tries to sneak back up the inside, side by side on the exit, but he's got the tight line. We've got the cornering speed around the outside, and we're able to hold on to that one, and we maintain our position in 6th. But I don't know how long this will last, because we are just not really confident in these conditions at the moment, and Christian Lundgaard is right on the back of us as we are now navigating our way onto the 2nd lap of the race. It's really awkward conditions here as we have a moment there through the first couple of corners, and yeah, there's just no confidence at the moment. I don't know if the tyres are cold or what the story is, but yeah, we're just struggling so much at this point in time. We're very defensive there as we're trying to make sure we hold the inside line, but that's also I'm just almost going with the car more than actually controlling the car, if that makes any sense. I feel like the car is mostly doing what it wants. I'm just trying to guide it away from the walls as we have to do a bit of it there once again, as we're just struggling for traction on corner exit. That's really the main thing. The cornering speed isn't too bad, but actually putting the power down at the other end is just not working for us. Meanwhile, Liam Lawson is down the inside into the hairpin as we're going to go side by side on the exit. Bit of contact made. We're out wide over the curb and grass, sideways and out of control, straight onto the racetrack into the path of Robert Schwartzman, and we're out. So is Robert Schwartzman, and I think David Beckman into the side of us there as well. And that was a very sudden end to this one, and unfortunately the recording actually cut out at that moment, and I didn't get any of those replays. We will check some out from the replay cameras in a moment later on, but yeah, I didn't get the podium recorded or any of that, unfortunately. So yeah, we'll check out the replays now and see exactly what just happened there. Here is the off-board shot, not great angle there, so we'll have to look at some on boards. This is Robert Schwartzman, absolutely no time to react for him, and his front left corner torn off. Here's the onboard with the Campos car of Beckman, and absolute miracle for him, T-boning us straight in the side and gets away with it, just the front wing off for him. But yeah, we got sideways on the grass and the curbs, and once this sort of pendulum starts, there is no saving it, and yeah, straight into the path of Robert Schwartzman. Nothing we could have done there. Nothing Schwartzman could have done there. And yeah, Beckman somehow gets away with that. What a miracle, honestly. And yeah, everyone else behind was able to avoid the collision, so lucky for them. But anyway, yeah, that's not what we needed. This was a good chance for us to capitalize on our championship rivals not having track position, and unfortunately we were not able to do that. So yeah, missed opportunity in this one. But anyway, let's see what the damage is. We'll have a look at the race results and what that has done to the championship standings. So in the race, Jack Aitken managed to take the win, and Teo Porcher finished second. Marino Sato, decent race. He started on pole, finished in third, so not bad. Jack Aitken also got the fastest lap, is worth mentioning. Oscar Piastri finished in fourth position ahead of Richard Verschoor, Liam Lawson, Yuri Vips, Felipe Drogovic, Jane Deruvala making it into the points, with Christian Lundgaard rounding out the points finishers in 10th position. So that is the point sitters in this race. Let's check out the championship standings. Jane Deruvala still holds the championship lead with those 2 points. 12 points behind him is Oscar Piastri, who moves himself up from 4th into 2nd. We drop to 3rd, 1 point behind 3 points behind Piastri rather, and then a further 3 points behind us is Liam Lawson. Robert Schwartzman drops to 5th position, 23 points off the championship lead, tied with Marino Sato, who has moved himself up into 6th, or technically equal 5th, with Robert Schwartzman. So good solid points haul from Sato, and that's really helped him in the standings. And yeah, just it's 23 points within a feature race of championship leader Jane Deruvala, which is exactly what we like to see. In terms of the team's championship, then let's check that one out. With Sato's points from this one, we actually move ourselves up into 2nd position, just 3 points behind behind Prema rather. Carlin drops to 3rd, with High-Tech still in 4th, and 10 points off the lead. So yeah, the fight in the team's championship even tighter than it was at the end of the last race. So yeah, lots to play out in that one as well. But anyway, back to focusing on this race. That was a race with the wall, and you know, those sorts of little mistakes basically sum it up, because I just had no rhythm. And if I had to put it down to one thing, I think it's still just the new handling model. I don't think the Formula 2 cars changed quite as much as the F1 cars did, but definitely I feel like the traction is much harder to put down than it was in the previous games, and it's just been sort of plaguing me ever since. I've had you know, various spins and moments throughout throughout this game that I feel like I wouldn't have had back in F1 2021, and especially with the Formula 2 cars in the previous games, I feel like I could drive those, I won't say flawlessly, but better than I am at the moment, and I wouldn't be making these sorts of mistakes. To be fair, it was wet, and I had no practice of this circuit in the wet, and with the pressures mounting from Lawson behind, there was not really any time to get up to speed. So I think it is partly just a confidence thing in those conditions as well. But yeah, it could be a combination of all those different factors, but whatever it was, it's not ideal, and we once again come away from a feature race with no points at the end of the day. So the end result is we need to do better, and you know, try and make sure this doesn't happen again. Anyway, I think that is going to bring this video to a close. Unfortunately, it was a little truncated by that error, but oh well, what can you do? So thank you so much for watching all the way to the end. I really do appreciate it. Feel free to give me some feedback in the comments. It is always very helpful. I need to learn how to drive in the wet, so any tips would be very much appreciated. But other than that, I will see you next time. Have a great day, and goodbye.